I'm Becca Carcel. I'm the chair right now of the San Luis Obispo County Food System Coalition. And we were formed in 2011 by about 20 different agencies, organizations, and community members. We have a little bit of staffing through a USDA grant to the food bank. And our mission, similarly to the last speaker, is to promote a sustainable food system that's equitable, profitable, resilient, and health promoting. Anyone can participate, so if you're local, we'd love for you to show up. Our current active work groups are looking at EBT and farmers markets, food hub, advocacy and outreach, and we have other work groups as interests arise. So there's information on all of that at our table in the back. If you want to get involved, check out our website, slowfoodsystem.org, and come to the table to pick up materials. And then lastly, I'd like to pitch, we have an advocacy workshop coming up June 9th from 9 to noon. It will be co-hosted by the food bank, and it's an introduction to state, federal, and local advocacy for anyone who's interested in coming. It doesn't have any specific topic, so it can take people from across the food system and across the community. So please pick up a flyer at our table and come to our advocacy workshop. So I'm pleased to introduce today a member of our Food System Coalition, Nicki Anderson, who is farm manager and educator at Central Coast Grown. Nicki and her colleagues are working hard to make agriculture more accessible in our community through the new Slow City Farm. Nicki was raised in the Bay Area and went to Brown University in Rhode Island with a plan to study international development. But she got sidetracked by a farming apprenticeship in Petaluma, and that quickly reoriented her life to farming. So when I talked to Nicki, this is what I found was really amazing, is how she ended up here in San Luis Obispo. Turns out she has a connection actually almost to this very spot. Her grandfather, Richard Anderson, was the athletic director at Cal Poly, and the Anderson Aquatic Center right next to us is named for him. So when the city farm manager educator job was posted, of course she applied. I asked Nicki what her favorite vegetable was, and she says garlic very emphatically, both to eat and to grow. So one thing I share with Nicki. Nicki's very excited about farming, farm education, and farm to school, and I'm going to let her tell you about that. So here's Nicki Anderson. Thank you.
Thank you, Becca. And I also want to thank Hunter and the Center for Sustainability. This conference has been really amazing and special in its focus on solution-oriented frameworks, which is not always what we get to hear about. So thank you to the Center for Sustainability and to Hunter. And I'm Nicki, and I'm very happy to be here, honored to be speaking amongst so many established people and experts in our region. I was hired to be the farm manager and educator of City Farm. For those of you who were here yesterday, you heard Karen Ross talk about her idea of agriculture happening on the fringe of society. Well, on the fringe of the city, so San Luis Obispo, congratulations, you're already kind of getting there. We have in the San Luis Obispo city plan, when certain agricultural land is sold for development, half of that has to remain in agricultural production. So when Madonna sold the land for, I'm going to take this out. When Madonna sold the land for the Target and Dick's in, oh, nope. There we go. You can't really see this, but over here there's a Target. This is 101 is the yellow line, and Los Osos Valley Road is the purple line. And you have the Delidio property in the middle, and this wheelbarrow-shaped, this is a close-up, but we'll go back. The wheelbarrow-shaped area is our 19 acres. That is Slow City Farm. And we acquired that when this land for Target and Dick's was sold. And it has been a huge effort and huge collaboration, a theme that has been present among this conference, with many people working very hard to develop this idea that as a vision is great, but in implementation can be more challenging. So at City Farm, We are located in pretty much in the city, along the freeway. We've got supermarkets. We also have the 131-acre Delidio property adjacent to us. And one thing that I love about City Farm is the edges that it creates. When we're looking for discussions or solutions, a lot of times the diversity in those solutions is necessary to recognize. And the City Farm allows us to have a lot of conversations. You get to the property and you see conventional farming happening, and then you see other projects, which I will go into later on, and it allows us to have these necessary conversations about what needs to happen in terms of the agricultural practices that will be providing food for our communities. So Central Coast Grown, which was formerly, it's the Central Coast Ag Network that Luis mentioned that was involved with the food processing facility. DBA, Central Coast Grown, they are the nonprofit that is managing the 19 acres of City Farm. And Central Coast Grown has been involved in local food production and local ag awareness, promoting ag education in schools, and now City Farm. At City Farm, we have multiple projects going on. Creating connections between the community and our local ag is at the forefront, but we also want to continue to incorporate diversity in how we do that. So we have multiple tenants. We have some seriously dedicated, amazing volunteers. Thank you, Stephen and Marks, who started the pilot program for the Pacific Beach High School Educational Farm and Garden. And the pilot program started this summer, and Pacific Beach High School is a continuation high school here in San Luis Obispo. They're located very close to the farm, so they're able to walk to our location. And this is a recent picture. The garden's in the front, the farm is in the back, and they come twice a week, and we go over all things of growing, both in the garden or at the farm. And we also, at the end, at the beginning of class, we have students practice their observation skills, which not only is important in being a good farmer or gardener, but also in life, and being aware of your surroundings and noticing change and patterns. So this is a journal entry from a student on the map of the garden. And then we also incorporate cooking. I've been involved in other gardens in urban areas, and these compost-based soils and nice organic fertilizers. These plants are thriving, and gorgeous pieces of chard and abundant cucumbers, and the students don't want to eat it. They're like, I don't want that piece of kale. I want a hamburger. So we really close that, or we try to extend the importance and the relevance of what it takes, the hard work of growing your own food, and then producing something that the students are involved in preparing for themselves. So we made some sauerkraut on the left, and then on the right, they're chopping broccoli. And it's amazing to see the transformation. Students would not want to touch some of these vegetables, but now we've got one student that just loves broccoli, and he's like, please, can I take that piece of broccoli? And he's smiling every time he's around broccoli. It's pretty amazing. And then so that's the Pacific Beach High School program. Another program that we're very proud of is, thank you to Tree Lees and the Permaculture Guild of SLO. We have a 1/4 acre global family garden, and what it does is celebrate the geographic heritage of different parts of the world. And this is Tree. They had a volunteer day. Can't see all the people that are out there. And that is more focused for children education and using permaculture, minimal tillage, and minimal inputs. So we have a permaculture garden, and that's our other nonprofit entity that's at City Farm. And then the other acreage, we've leased out to other farmers. They're currently is Green Gold Organics. They're graduates of the ALBA Farmer Training Program in Salinas, and they're growing a little over an acre of strawberries and a little less than an acre of specialty peppers. But again, you see all these varieties of ways that we're trying to grow food. And sometimes, I'll go look at what Matt's doing at Green Gold. Oh, what are you doing over there? And he'll come and look, and what are you doing over there? And we're all first-generation farmers right now. And so we don't have those generations of support and information to guide us. So it's really a wonderful opportunity to be working together alongside each other and eventually down the road offsetting the costs of equipment and greenhouses and accumulating more cooperative buying power. We had a tenant that was on 14 acres, but they ran out of money, and that just speaks to the support that first generation farmers do need. And so we really want to support the farmers that are on our lands to succeed. We have a new tenant that started just Monday, Javier of Have Suave or Red Barn Farms. He'll be leasing 5 acres. And we hope to continue this model of developing sustainable, good quality entities on City Farm that then we can work together and bring the community in. So there are a lot of ways for you to participate. And this is a group of volunteers that came out. And I know at the Global Family Garden, they have regular volunteer days every Friday afternoon and the 4th Saturday of every month. And the Pacific Beach High School Farm and Garden also has volunteer days. It's not so much a regular schedule, but kind of as we need. We're going to be planting a lot of onions today if you want to come out and volunteer. And I also just want to speak to the education of our food awareness at the farm. I'm biased, but the garden or farm is the quintessential place for teaching these things that are often overlooked in our educational system. I personally had a college degree and then did a farmer apprenticeship and didn't even know how to plant a sunflower. The farmer had me plant them along the road, and I was like, do you take it out of the shell first? What do you do? And so I became incredibly committed and committed to and enthusiastic about the awareness of where our food comes from. Because if we can create a space for more people to be engaged, not everyone has to become a farmer. I just happen to become addicted to it, and I love it. But if there is an opportunity for more people to learn about where their food comes from or how it's grown or all the amount of work that goes into it, then we can, with that education, our buying power, as Paula mentioned, each dollar you spend is like a vote. We can be more wise about how we make our votes. And as is yesterday, Jerry Davis mentioned, there's often this animosity between small and large farmers, but really we're all trying to do the same thing, feed our planet in a way so it lasts, hopefully. At least I'd like to believe that. And so it really just to have those, we have to be diverse in our response and in the solutions that we're creating. So, I think instead of dichotomizing things, bringing everyone to the table so that we can all learn what the other person's doing and learn where they're coming from and be more informed consumers, hopefully, and change the food system that way. So that's kind of it. I was trying to be quick. So thank you. Any questions?